pickleball game this offseason?
Not as intense as I was originally planning on. I probably played less pickle this summer than I anticipated.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just for whatever reason didn't get as much as I anticipated.
How would you rate your pickleball game?
Depends on who you ask. In my head, I'm a 10 out of 10 and can compete against anybody. But there's certainly people that I've met my match against.
After the renegotiation with Joe Mixon, how important is it for you guys to get him in the fold, presumably long term?
Yeah, I think he's had a great attitude every step of the way since I've been here, and I think that's one of the things that people in this organization appreciate about Joe is the energy he brings to this team and this franchise, and he just wants to win, and so whatever it takes to win, he signed up for that, and so we really appreciate that about Mixon.
You see the numbers across football the last few years, but now, especially with contracts running back this offseason, there's a devaluation in the position. What are your thoughts on that across the league?
I don't really have thoughts on it across the league. We just look at our own team and what's best for our team at this moment. And, again, just ready to move forward the whole time.
Third down, running back. How do you see that position shaping up throughout camp?
It's a battle.
Yeah.
That's a big unknown for us right now. And so we've got some guys that can certainly take those reps. It can be one guy. It can be multiple guys. We're not going to put it in a box and say this is what it's got to look like. The part about Joe Mixon is, he's a featured first and second down back as well. And so he can do some of that stuff on third down, but you want to keep him fresh and try to keep some of that stuff off his plate. Obviously, there's a role for him there, but there's certainly an opening for some other guys to step up and take that. And you look at last year, I think we had 100 catches about at the running back position. And so there's a big piece of the pie there that people can step up and be a part of.
Does Joe's role change at all, or are you expecting the same role for him and just with no Samaje in the back end?
Yeah, every year's a little different as we get going, but certainly he's the first and second down back, and to get the ball in his hand in any way possible is usually a good thing. If you're just watching the pass cut ups and when he's catching a check down out of the field, backfield, and now Nickel's got to tackle him in space, that's a tough challenge for those guys, and you want to make defenses pay as much as possible by getting him the ball. And so there's a lot of different ways that can take shape.
Has that part of his game evolved since you've been here, his pass catching ability?
I don't think it's evolved necessarily. I can picture over the last couple of years many times he's catching the ball on a check down on a play action in the flat or catching the ball on a swing route off a drop back and always gaining extra yards there. So I can't think back to maybe 2019 tape, but these last couple of years I think he's been really effective coming out of the backfield catching the ball.
You're the fourth or fifth guy to sit down here today, and something that's been echoed by other guys is that you don't want to speak publicly about the negotiations with Joe Burrow, contract negotiations with Joe Burrow. Why do you think that agreement, if you will, is important from both sides to not speak publicly about that?
Well, our focus is just on getting this team ready to play games, and that stuff, the business part of it takes care of itself. That's an upstairs thing. Fortunately for me, I get to focus on the team and the locker room, and they get a chance to work through all the negotiations. So it's very simple for me. Just move forward and make sure this team's ready to play.
With no Jesse Bates, no Von Bell this year, what are you looking for out of the secondary going to training day?
Well, there's some leadership there that walked out the door, and we're fortunate to be deep at leadership on that side of the ball. And Nick Scott, that's certainly one of the intangibles he's brought from LA, is the leadership role he had there. He'll continue that here as well as he finds his way into this defense. And Dax Hill being a first-round pick, great talent. Now he gets a chance to step up and show his value there. And so really excited to see those guys get in there and compete with Jordan Battle and Tyson Anderson and Mike Thomas and a bunch of the safeties that we got.
Three established wide receivers, obviously, but what are you looking for out of the rookies going into camp?
Yeah, to continue to improve and build that depth. And we've seen that from Trent Irwin. We've seen that from Trent Taylor, Stanley Morgan. Now you get a chance for these young guys to step up and show their way. And so and they get a chance to learn from the best. Those three receivers plus Troy Walters and Brad Craigthorpe, the consistency we've had there at that position, I think it's a really good spot for young players to come in here and learn and improve every day.
Will the physicality in camp look any different this year?
Physicality, no. We've got it pretty laid out how we're going to do it. We're a big 2 days in a row team. We're going to maximize our full pads every opportunity we get. I think that's a good question because we haven't had pads on since January, and so part of training camp is getting your body conditioned for the physicality of it. Not running and being in shape that way, but just the physicality of things. And our team has done a great job of understanding that, of of communicating with me in years past when they need more, when they feel like they've been pushed the right way. And so those are conversations that we always have during training camp with key players on the team.
You have it still a few weeks away, and I know you haven't made final decisions.
Yeah.
Are you approaching it the same way with the starters?
No, last year, let's start with that. Joe Burrow not playing affects a lot of different players at different positions. And so this year we'll continue to see how every week goes, but wouldn't take off the table, our guys getting some reps in at least one of these games.
Is it kind of crazy to think that this is his first full, hopefully,
It is.
healthy training camp?
Yeah, it is crazy. I have to remind myself of that, as you watch old training camp tape early and just remind yourself on some things. And he's not on the tape, last year and coming off the ACL, he was limited, and then COVID. So it is different. I'm sure he's really looking forward to getting off training camp.
I thought we saw some photos of him working with a new helmet yesterday. Is that something we can expect to see, or is that trial and error?
Yeah, I saw that on our Twitter. That's the first I knew of it. I don't notice, when guys change their helmet. So that's not something I've specifically talked to him about. But I don't involve myself in all that stuff.
You have your staff back. Do you refine anything on your day-to-day life behind the scenes, knowing that you've done this so many times? Do you go into an off-season thinking, all right, how can I change up certain things?
There's certainly things that you change within the roles, and there's small nuanced things behind the scenes with presentations and game day stuff. And so, again, those are things that I think having the continuity on staff, now you get a chance to pass some roles around and guys learn some things and be stressed some ways that they haven't in the past, but also get a chance to communicate with people who had those roles before them that are still here on staff. Usually it takes shape where people leave and someone's got to step in those roles. And so I think that's what's been really cool about this group and just raising everyone's football IQ in certain areas. That's been a fun part of having the staff continuity.
Forgive me if this is a broad way of asking this, but how do you feel right now heading into this season? Like, do you feel the same as you felt in years past, or now that you've been here for several years, does it feel like a different spot to you?
No, it's always exciting. You're always anxious to script and get back on the field and present again to the players and make sure you're not missing anything, any conversation that you want to have with the player before the season starts. So there's always these things that go through my mind of things that we still got to get done, especially in the next 2 days, even before camp starts. And it doesn't feel much different. It's always excited to get back after and get the players in the building.
What was your favorite thing you did during the offseason, favorite part of the offseason? You talked about pickleball. What was your favorite part of the offseason personally?
Again, just I think movie nights with my family. Well, I guess it wasn't with this group; it was with that group. I said that. We watched a lot of movies this summer as a family. Sit on the couch, just try to enjoy that time together. And so, my favorite thing to do is go through movies I like from when I was a kid. And so, I was telling them we watched Blue Chips the other night. With my two sons. So not the little girls, but my sons, and that leads into a conversation of Bobby Knight. Because really Nick Nolte, it seems like maybe he's emulating Bobby Knight to an extent, and then it gets into college recruiting and where that all goes, and NIL. So these movies lead to a lot of different things. We watched the one Moneyball, and so now I get a chance to talk to my kids about the salary cap and the lack of salary cap in Major League and how franchises have to be built a certain way. And so they probably just want to watch the movie and enjoy the movie. I pause it constantly and start to educate them on, okay, now do you know why he's saying that? And so it's that's fun for me. Maybe not as fun for them, but that was one of my favorite parts
Do
of
you
the summer.
always get to choose the movies, or does it rotate?
So I got booed off the stage the other night because I've been really batting 1,000, and then I did Rush Hour with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. I thought it was funny. There was not one laugh the entire movie, and so I maybe lost my voting privileges during that one.
Moneyball is a little bit over 2 hours with all the pausing. How long does it take to get through the movie?
We usually start at like 8. I never really track when it ends. But if there's a Red game on, obviously we're watching the Reds game first. And so it's some nights we miss. Yeah.
Is the movie draft day off the table since it's about the Browns?
They said they'd seen that, and so we didn't cover that one again. Yeah.
No, like Disney movie type.
No, we watched the Mitchells Against the Machines. Is a Netflix animated movie. My daughters got to watch that one. I think it's really funny. They seem to like it. That's a good recommendation I've got for anybody with kids 10 and younger. I think was a good family-friendly movie. Machines are taking over the world, AI, and his family's got to fight back. So it's pretty good.
Have you talked?
This is the last question. We have to start lunch here.
How much have you talked with David Bell? I'm just curious the dynamic between the two teams.
Yeah.
You, impact. If you guys have chatted back and forth, swapped back.
Yeah, we had texted, and then I got a chance when they were playing the Rockies to take my kids over there. And so, went down in the clubhouse with him after the game and met some of the coaches and got a chance to be around the players. And always have had a ton of respect for him and his family, and they've been great to us. Our wives have connected. He's got a son that's my son's age. And so it's been fun watching them and have the success this year that they're having. I'm very mindful he's in season, so I don't want to be driving that because I know I don't respond to people much when I'm in season. So mindful of that, but we get a chance, to connect every couple of years or so. Yep. Thank you all.
Thank you, Zach.
I was sitting first row when he got thrown out the other day. That was fun. I was cheering him on. I was all for it.
It's the second most tosses in baseball for the last 5
Does he?
years.
Well, that one was a good one. He got his money's worth.